Hey, welcome to Bikes, Boats, and Bivouacs. We're at the Newport Car Museum for Big Al. Let's check it out.
So, welcome in. We have just over 100 cars on display here. They're all located right on this floor and split into 7 galleries. Down at the end of the hallway, that's where you'll start. It's the middle of the museum with world's cars. From there, you guys have the option to go left or right to check out the other galleries. There's Porsche, Ford Shelby, Mopar, Finn cars, all different types of cars from the 50s and up. But what we don't have is ropes, so we just ask not to touch, as well as go on the platforms the cars are standing on. Aside from that, pictures and video is totally welcome. We have a gift shop on your right here. And right around the corner to your left is the bathrooms. Okay. Now, when everyone's done, just find the Countach and you'll head right out this hallway.
All right.
That's about all I got.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Fantastic time. My name's Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Whose collection is this, or?
This is all owned by one couple named Gunther and Maggie Berman. Their private collection. Yeah.
Berman, did you say?
Berman. It's like Bowerman.
Okay, Bowerman. Okay.
From this area?
Yeah. In the summer.
Now, the Newport Car Museum is relatively new. I believe it opened in 2017. There are over 100 vehicles, automobiles in this museum, and all of these are owned by a couple that stay in Newport in the summertime, and they spend their winters down in Florida. And I'm glad that they decided to open the museum to other folks so that they can admire the collection. It's really a beautiful collection. So we're starting off here in the Ford Shelby section. So there's different sections, 7 different areas of the museum. This video is part 1. So this video I'll have about half of it in, and then part 2 will have the rest of the museum in there. So right now, the cars that you are viewing are the Ford cars, and they are in spectacular condition. Now, our connection to the Mustang, Marie, when she was in high school, had a 1969 Mustang with the 351 Cleveland engine in it. And then later on, after we were married, I bought Marie a 1966 red Mustang that she toured around in for quite a while. So that's our connection to the Ford Mustang. She really had it when she was younger. Now, the museum is open from 10 to 5, and they're closed on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So parking is free there. There's no charge for parking. The museum is in a building that was once used to manufacture missiles. There was a large naval presence up in this area years ago. And they're located in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, which is right next to Newport. And the address is technically 1947 West Main Road in Portsmouth, but you have to enter at 1847 West Main Road. So just keep that in mind if you're heading over there to the museum. This museum is handicap accessible. So if you have mobility issues, you'll still easily be able to move around and get in there. And you're allowed to take photography. You can take pictures in there, and you can take video in there. So they're really open to getting the word out about the spectacular collection that they have here. And if you're interested and you're in that area, they do enjoy using volunteers. So if you want to be a volunteer, you can be a volunteer. Now, I love the old Finn cars, and my all-time favorite car is a 1958 Chevy Impala, and they have one in this section of the museum. So we'll go through these cars, and you can check out all the Finn cars. They're beautiful, and then eventually we'll get into the muscle cars. But the 1958, that's my favorite Chevy Impala, is that 1958. So I was super stoked to find out that they had the 58 in the museum. Now, if you're on a camping trip up here and you stay at the Newport RV Park, this auto museum is only a few minutes away from the campground. So definitely put this on your list of things to do if you're going to come up and do the mansion tours and all. This is a great way to spend some time. Marie's mom loved red Cadillacs and Elvis, so this car she would have really enjoyed taking a look at if she was with us on this trip. Of course, she had passed away a number of years ago. But whenever I see a red Cadillac, I think of old Jackie. Now, I wasn't too familiar with DeSoto, so this particular car really caught my eye because of the fins. And of course, all the cars built back during this time period looked well built and sturdy and could last forever. So I've noticed that about the fin cars. They look rock solid. But the fins on this with the taillights going vertical instead of horizontal, I thought was really interesting. Of course, here is another red Cadillac. One interesting piece of information: I live in the outskirts of Fleetwood, Pennsylvania, and Fleetwood Automobile, that's where it was built prior to Cadillac taking it over. The curved windshield on this, Marie. All-time car is a 58 Impala. Here it is. Three lights. Of course, Richie Cunningham in the movie American Graffiti drove a 58 Impala hardtop. This is a beautiful convertible. This car truly is a work of art. This is beautiful too. I love the color of this one.
Yeah.
Here is a 57 Chevy. And of course, you see a lot of these on the road all tricked out. I love the color on this car. You can see him starting to play around with different colors back then. And Marie's mom either had a 55 or a 57. I remember my dad had one, and the transmission was so bad we had to go up steep hills in reverse. Here is a 57 Ford Thunderbird. And I remember in that American Graffiti movie, Suzanne Summers was driving a white Ford Thunderbird in that movie. If you haven't seen American Graffiti, you might want to grab that movie and check it out. I own two 70 Chevelles and a 65 Chevelle in my lifetime. This is a 70 Chevelle, but much nicer than the one I had. Now, both 70 Chevelles I had 307s in them, and the 65 had a 327 in it. And I remember my brother Todd borrowed my 65 Chevelle, and I could hear him running that puppy up the road, and then of course when he came down to our house he just kind of whimpered it in like I wouldn't hear him. Of course, you know, the Mustangs, the Camaros, the GTOs, the Dodge Challenger and Barracuda, and the Roadrunner, you know, they were all the muscle cars that we all, you know, aspired to try to buy. My son's father-in-law has an affinity for GTOs. He has several of them in his little personal collection, and he would absolutely love to see the cars in this museum. I also one time had a 70 Barracuda, which was the same as this Challenger. So the Challenger was brought back by Dodge, and they made an updated version, kind of a retro version of it. It was quite successful. They sold quite a few of those. So you can see the newer version of the Dodge Challenger on the road today. Now here is another Chevy Impala. These cars are just done really well. They're beautiful. They're well maintained, and I am so glad they're on display for all to see. And just as Dodge had brought the Challenger back, Chevy brought the Camaro back, and they did an updated version of the Chevy Camaro. So you can see the Camaros as they move forward. That name has been around, even though the car has gone through a lot of iterations. Had a 70 Barracuda in an emerald blue paint job, and of course this one's a little nicer than the one I had, but this is a Plymouth Hemi Barracuda, 1970. My Barracuda had an emerald blue paint job with brushed aluminum slots, so it looked great. The difference between this one with a Hemi is mine had a slant 6 225. So that was not my fastest car, but it was the prettiest car. So it got a lot of looks. Here you see the updated version on the redesigned frame. I remember when the Vipers came out, that was a really hot car, and a lot of people wanted to get their hands on that. But of course, it was a very expensive car at the time. And that's around the time, when you start having kids, that's not a very practical car. You're more likely to have a minivan, but they're nice to look at. Now this Plymouth Superbird is a beautiful car, just magnificent, and every once in a while you'd see one of these on the road, but they were pretty rare to find them out there on the road. Most people who have these now are afraid to take them out on the road. Enjoyed this video or it helped you, consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, it helps me out a lot. So ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and give the video a thumbs up. That helps it be seen by a wider audience. But more important than all that,
Go have some fun out there.
hey, thanks for watching.